Hi, I'm DeDe. In this yoga session, we'll do 30 minutes of exploring where, when, and how rotation shows up in our practice. And we'll even occasionally examine where and when rotation should not be happening. This will produce first and foremost better awareness of our alignment in poses and of our body in the present moment, but also it will help us increase joint stability and joint mobility too. If you're on a hard floor, I want you to have a yoga mat in the same orientation as I have mine. If you're on a carpet, you might be able to do it without the yoga mat. I want you to have a folded towel and some water. As usual, plenty of space. You probably won't need your shoes or your socks. Make sure that you move at the pace and through the range of motion that works for you, and you make it smaller and slower if you need to. Having something nearby to steady yourself when we're doing some of the standing work isn't a bad idea either, so make sure you have a wall, a sturdy chair, or a countertop nearby if you need it to hold on to. We're starting out in a seated position, so coming down to the floor any way you like, or sitting in a chair instead of sitting on the floor. During this first part, sitting in a chair works fine. You can also sit on a couch or on the side of a bed. Folding up your towel makes it a little easier to sit flat on the floor because it makes you not actually flat on the floor, but it elevates your hips a little bit. Folding your legs in a similar fashion to the way I have mine, feeling free to take your feet further away or keep them in closer. And then we'll create equal weight across both of our hips. And we'll sit up tall and straight. So the ears are over the shoulders and the shoulders are over the hips. And then we'll let our arms relax into our lap. Whether you're in a chair or sitting with me on the floor or on a bed or a couch, feel free to close your eyes here. Let the breath flow in and out without too much change, at least not at first. And then we'll start to make the breath a little deeper, and we'll place one hand on the low abdomen, so just below the navel. And we have that hand there to remind us that that's where we should draw the air down into, that space down there in our abdomen. So invite the air way down low to start your inhale. Fill all the way up to your chest and your throat. And then as you exhale, just relax and let the air leave your body. And try to do this through your nose, both inhales and exhales. And then let your eyes softly open if they're closed. Start to move your fingers, your thumbs, and your toes gently. So now we will reverse our legs. If you're sitting in a chair or on a couch or on the side of a bed, you won't need to reverse your legs. You'll just keep your feet on the floor. Take your arms out to the sides now. Inhale, bend your elbows, press your palms together. And we'll exhale. Let's do that a few times. Letting your elbows straighten a little bit more now if that's comfortable for your shoulders. All right, now let's press our palms together here. Shoulders relaxed, hands in front of the heart center, and we'll go side to side. Feel the stretch not only in your hands and maybe the base of your fingers, but also into your wrists and your forearms too. Now let's do our first rotation. So see if you can do this with me. Your little fingers are facing me now. Now your thumbs are facing me. And then your fingers go down so your thumbs are facing you. And then you come up and we go right back to where we started. Can we try it again? Little fingers facing you. Now thumbs facing you. Coming up. And thumbs facing you again. Little fingers, so that means backs of the hands are together, fingers down, fingers up, palms together. One more time, backs of the hands. Now can we try it going the other way? So we go forward and then backs of the hands together down here and palms together. Go forward first. This is challenging in a couple of different ways. It's a nice stretch for your wrists, especially if you get the backs of your hands fully together, but it's also a little bit of brain fitness. Even though I do this quite often for many decades, I can still get confused as to which direction I'm going or when the backs of the hands are together and when the palms are together. All right, let's stop. Now let's take the arms out. Inhale, draw them back. And then exhale, bring them forward. Do it again. Shoulders are away from ears. Make sure you have plenty of space to do this. All right, now we'll do another rotation. Inhale, exhale, turn to the right, rotate through your spine, both hands on your right leg. And then when you're ready to inhale again, come back to center, and we'll go the other way. Let's do a few more. Feel what's happening as you rotate your spine all the way up through your neck. And one more. Now a side bend. So take your arms out. Inhale, right hand down. Exhale, reach over with your left arm. Now, if you're on a chair, you can separate your feet a little bit wider. And if you don't have room on the seat of your chair, you can put your hand on your leg. If you're on a couch or a bed, you should have enough space. But if you're in a chair, maybe not. If you have a chair with arms, putting your hand on the armrest probably will work. Make sure your feet are apart so you have good stability though. One more time each way. And then we're coming back to center. Now we're going to come over onto our hands and knees. So if you're sitting on anything other than your mat, go ahead and come down onto your mat now. Extra padding, as usual, always welcome for underneath your knees in this case. And we warmed up our wrists, but if you need to warm them up a little bit further, feel free to do that here. Be on your palms or be up on your fists if that feels better. Shoulders away from ears, your wrists are under your shoulders, your knees are under your hips. Now let's take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, press your hips to one side, your shoulders go to the opposite side. Inhale back to center, exhale, opposite. Back and forth. Feel what's happening in the sides of your body, the side of your hip, your waist area, the side of your arm, your upper arm, your shoulder. One more. All right, come back to center, tuck your toes under, inhale, and then exhale, drop your elbows down. They should be just a few inches from your knees. Let's do that again. Inhale up, and then exhale down. Let's do a couple more. Make sure your elbows stays in line with your wrist and shoulders so you're not letting them flare out. So don't do this, don't do this. Tuck them in. It's easier to keep your palms flat too if you're doing palms. Now let's stay in the down position this time. Make sure you're not overstretching your toes. Can you feel the toe stretch? Make sure it's the right amount. Your neck is neutral, your shoulders are still away from your ears. All right, and then we come back up to our hands and knees, untuck the toes, take a big step forward with your hands so your wrists are now forward of your shoulders. And then we inhale and exhale, sit back just as far as you can, and then do it again. Coming forward, straight and long through your body, not collapsing, and then exhale back. When you're ready to inhale, come forward again. All right, now each time we come forward, we're going to twist open. So hello, and then exhale back. Now the other arm. Inhale. So we're twisting into the inhale. That means there's a little bit more resistance for the twist. So we're turning our ribs. We're probably not turning the hips very much. So ribs turning, yes. Hips turning, no. Last time. All right, now we're sitting back. We're going to stay back for a moment. Turn your thumbs up and then press your armpits down a little bit further. And feel free to be much further forward, more like this if you need to be. Otherwise, slide further back if you can. Now we're going to twist in both directions this time. So your palms are flat, your arms are extended. Inhale, open up toward me. Now watch. Exhale, reach through and drop down. And then go in reverse. Inhale, turn and face me once again. And then exhale, sit back. Now let's do the other arm. Reach it up first. Inhale and twist. And then exhale and twist the other way. Bend your supporting arm. Inhale back up. And then exhale and sit back. Let's do one more on each time. So your palm is facing the floor, your palm is facing toward me, and then your palm is facing the ceiling. Inhale, palm facing toward me, And then exhale, facing the floor. So that's some rotation there just within our arm position. One more time with this arm. All right, now we come to a kneeling position. So make sure your knees are underneath your hips and then slowly rise up here to an upright kneeling position. Now take your foot that's closest to me and step it forward and then lean into this kneeling lunge. Make sure you have padding that is sufficient under your back knee. And then this front knee is over the ankle. Now let's do some arm circles here. So we'll lead with the elbows. Inhale, and then exhale down. So that's a double arm rotation. Do it again. And down. Two more. Feel the stretch that's happening right now in the front of your hip as well. Maybe in the back of your other hip. Last one now. Leading with the elbows still. And then we'll switch. So we'll push off and we'll take the knees underneath us. Keep your balance. The other foot is forward now. We're leaning into it. All right, now different. Bring the backs of your hands together and then inhale, palms up. And then exhale, backs of your hands together again. Get that arm rotation going. Get as much back bend here as you can, even if it's only a tiny amount, that's fine. And we're taking both of our hands on the inside of our front foot so we can bring our back knee up and walk toward one another. So keep your extra padding here just in case. Turn your toes out, bend your knees a little bit, take your hands on your legs. Now we slowly come up to this upright, wide stance position. Inhale. And then exhale, bend your knees, drop your arms down. Do it again. Arms come up a little higher if you can, bending your elbows. So we did a breathing movement like this at the very beginning, a little bit of sweeping up for the inhale and coming down. But now we're using our legs and our torso in a much bigger way. So this should feel very different. You may feel your heart rate coming up. You may be able to straighten your elbows a little bit more at the top. See how it feels. All right, one more. Now this time we come only to halfway down. I want you to keep breathing. Arms come out, shoulders away from ears, knees are bent. Let's inhale, take this left hand, exhale, bring it across. And then when you're ready to inhale, come back to center, heart facing forward, and then exhale, turn. Let's go again. Now what is not rotating here is your leg, right? As you're turning this way, your legs pretty much stay in place. Don't let your legs rotate, but do rotate from your spine. Your rib cage turns. And then one more time. And then let's release that. Turn this way. Make sure your right foot is forward here. And then keep your balance. Come up on the tiptoes of your back foot. Now you may need to steady yourself on something, so grab a sturdy chair or get a countertop nearby or a wall. So we're going to do that same twisting principle here now from our lunge. So first we straighten both of our knees. We'll inhale, and then we'll exhale and drop down. Let's do that again. Then we'll add the twist. All right, take your arms out. Inhale. Now as you drop down this time, exhale, turn toward me. You don't have to turn your head, just your arms coming across. And then inhale, open. And then your arm closest to me goes across to the back arm now as you exhale. Now keeping your focal point forward is a little easier for the balance. Now if you turn, we're continuing on, if you turn your focal point, that makes it harder to balance. So only do that if you feel comfortable. If it doesn't overly challenge you. One more time each direction. And then we'll come back to center, and then we'll release that. Traveling around to the other side, how did you do? Setting yourself up in your high lunge on the tiptoes of your back foot, as usual, feet on a railroad track. Keep your balance now. Let's just go down and up. Inhale, straighten your knees. Exhale, bend down low. And we'll do it again. All right, take your arms out. Inhale, come up. Exhale, turn toward me. You don't have to turn your focal point. Inhale, center. Coming up. Exhale, front arm goes to the back. So we're trying not to turn the legs. Keeping the pelvis stationary, turning the ribs, the chest, and moving the arm. Now, if you want to turn your focal point, now's your chance. Turning or not turning. Remember, you're steadying yourself on a stationary, sturdy object if you need to. All right, and then let's release, face front. Turn your toes out. Take your hands on your thighs, soften your knees, sit your hips back. Inhale. Exhale, drop one shoulder down. Here's some more rotation. Inhale, back to the center. Keep pushing your knees out. Exhale, rotate your spine. So you're also going to feel this, your upper arm bone rotating in your shoulder joint there. A little bit of that is going on. One more time each way. All right, we're coming to the center. We don't need this extra padding right now, so you can remove it. And then slowly bring yourself up. Bring your feet in. Stand in mountain pose. Feet under hips, soften knees, lift the chest. Let's rotate, there's that word again, inside of the elbow and palms, straight ahead. All right, inhale. Exhale, sit into chair pose with your hands in front of your heart center. Keep your knees in line with your ankles. Let's do it again. Now make sure your legs aren't wobbly because we're actually going to be using them for leverage here in just a second. They can't be wobbly, so your hips have to be very stable. Okay, last one. You may want to watch this first one. So here we are in our chair pose with the back straight, the hips sitting back. Knees in line with the ankles. Now watch. Both hands go over to the right with the shoulders down, and then we twist and we stay here. Now if you're comfortable here with your right thumb up, then you can sweep your arm up. Make sure your knees are not knocking together. Do you want to join me? So it's chair, hands, turn your chest, shoulders away from ears, right thumb up, and then reach up and back. All right, let's come back up to standing. Inhale, chair pose, exhale, stable hips, stable legs, both hands on the left, tuck your shoulders down, left thumb up, and then reach back. This one's a tough one for a lot of different reasons. Rotation might be one of those reasons. And then we stand up. Now let's try it one more time. Same as the first round, or if you're comfortable with your feet closer together, bring them so they're lightly touching at the widest point. Lightly touching, comfortably touching. All right, here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Sit into your chair. Now because the ankles are close together, the knees can also be close together. Hands on the right, shoulders tucked down. Let's take our right arm back. Sit back further, and if you can, try to keep your knees fairly stable and in line with one another without the left knee coming forward. Because we don't want to rotate our pelvis, we want to rotate our ribs. Inhale up. Last round, exhale. Tall and straight with your spine. Reach. And then try to make your knees squared, equidistant from me to your knees. All right, and then we stand up, roll the shoulders. One more. All right, separate your feet just a little bit more. Take your hands behind you, little fingers of your fists against your hips, and then we'll tuck the elbows back. So that was the little finger side of your fists here. Tuck your elbows back. Expand your chest. Stay with this. Notice how the knees are slightly bent, just slightly. And then release. Now we step the feet out wider, and then we turn with our feet on our railroad track. Press your back heel down, and then bend your front knee. Feel that stretch in your calf muscles. Do you feel it? Now we're going to keep our balance. Place your hands well up above your knee of your front leg. Back is straight, then you'll try to bring some straightness to both legs, and then hinge forward a bit until you feel the stretch down the back of both of your legs, maybe in different places, but both legs are stretching. Now let's come up, and then we'll reverse by turning. Feet on a railroad track. Bend your front knee until you feel the calf stretch. All right, now going from just the stretch in your back leg to stretching in both legs. So straighten both legs, hand up, both hands on your upper thigh, hinging forward a bit until you feel the stretch. And then soften your front knee, come on up. stepping our feet in. And then once again, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. 2 more. 1 more. All right. So how did that feel? Did you notice all the times where rotation was happening, where maybe you didn't even think about rotation in a certain pose? I hope so. I hope you get a different perspective on rotation, whether it's in our spine, in our arms, shoulders, legs, hips, wherever. As usual, thank you for joining me. And until next time, be well.